voting. Okay, that happened, and the vehicles, the materials were brought to the polling units. That's about 2 polling units or 3 polling units at that. And then the presiding officer starts to set up everything to start the process of accreditation. Meanwhile, by 6 a.m., most of the voters were already in their queues because they took the words of INEC seriously, that everything was going to be clear and everything was going to be smooth and okay. And so women had in their queues. Don't forget, I'm in the northern region of Nigeria, the far north, very close to Niger, bordering Niger Republic. So most of them here are Muslims. So the men queued separately and women queued separately, waiting for INEC to bring the electoral materials. And the electoral materials came, the guy set up everything, and then boom, he said the VBAS voting machine was not working. And so we moved over
Naomi, specifically, you're talking about which one of the areas in Nigeria? Is it the northwestern region of Nigeria, there in Sokoto?
Yes, this is the northwestern region of Nigeria, but Sokoto precisely. Okay. I'm reporting from Sokoto State, which is bordering Niger Republic, in the northwestern region of Nigeria.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Naomi.
Okay, so after that, we moved to other polling units, and the same story we heard. The BVAS machine was not working, so we tried to contact the presiding officers. Those are INEC ad hoc staff, whom we assume and presume that INEC had trained to use this technology so that the elections can be free and fair. Because the new technology, in the past we're using card readers, but this time we brought, the president introduced BVAS. It's a new technology where whenever you just vote, as you place your thumb on it, your face and your whole data will go to the INEC database at the federal capital at their headquarters. And this was report coming from also other journalists in the country that the BVAS was not working. It was not responding. So we approached some of the ad hoc staff, presiding officers, what is going on? And we had reports like the username that were given to them by INEC officials were not responding. And also some would say the password they gave us to open this equipment and start work is not responding. And so we're wondering that were they not trained? However, that was a little of the problems. And some polling units we moved to, there was so much crowd, and the people would not allow the presiding officers to allow them vote.
So Naomi, by that time in which you people were experiencing these things happening, like you've explained, can you give us a specific time, or say that around the afternoon hours or early morning, about 10, 11? What's the exact time when the complaints were coming up?
Okay, I told you earlier we were at the polling units pretty early at about 8 a.m. And when we got there, we already met voters queued up. Some came at 6 a.m. as they told us. But these materials were arriving the scene of the polling unit at about 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. Nigerian time. And by the time the INEC officer or the presiding officer had to install everything in place, it was into 11 a.m. And don't forget, Sekou, that this process was supposed to end at 2 p.m. Nigerian time. At 11:30 a.m., the presiding officer has not said any work at all. And that was the same report in more than 50% of the polling units around the northwestern region of Sokoto State. You understand? So we went to other places to see. There were crowds there. Some who the machine was working. It was a very slow process.
So that means now elections started very little in Sokoto and some of the areas you people visited in the northwestern region of Nigeria. They did not start within time.
Exactly, Sekou. Exactly. As a matter of fact, none of the polling units started their elections as early as 8 as INEC promised. Some started around 10, some around 11, and some even around 12 p.m., 12 noon. And as a matter of fact, those who were able to access the BVAS which was working, it was a very slow process. They will have to wait and take the photo of the person, max like 5 minutes to accredit one person. And so we're talking about 500 people on a queue, and if the thing takes 5 minutes to process one person, what happens to the remaining people? And this process was supposed to finish at 2:30 p.m. Nigerian time. So the whole thing became so discouraging. Some people got tired of waiting because it's quite sunny here in the desert, and some went back home because they couldn't. And that is one of the problems.
Naomi, how was the turnout today for the election in that part of the country? Nigerians turned out in their numbers?
Sekou. Very impressive, Sekou. It was very glaring that Nigerians wanted to make a change. Nigerians came out en masse. In Sokoto State, women and men alike came out en masse, came out in their numbers, queued up. Every polling unit had more than 500 to 600 voters waiting in the lines. And then their hopes were dashed when they found out that the machines were not working. We tried to reach the INEC officials to see if they would come and do something. They said, okay, they were coming. We waited for some time. They didn't come. So we had to move to the next place.
With that, it means there were a lot of difficulties in having Nigerians in that part of the country to carry out the voting process. Now, do we still have Nigerians voting, or the voting process has come to an end?
Oh no, Sekou. As I speak with you, many Nigerians around my region here in Sokoto State, to be precise, are still in the queues voting. As a matter of fact, I'm just standing behind a line, but they said they're not going to go home. They came out to vote, and vote they shall. And so INEC has also given them time. They are going to vote until late into the night, until everyone on the queue is given a right to exercise his civic duty as a Nigerian.
Was that what announced by the head of the National Elections Commission within that country as to the time involved? When would the election start and when would the election end? Did they announce that they could be voting by this time?
Well, the INEC announced on every national radio station and even international media that the elections were going to start at 8 a.m. to end at 2 p.m. Nigerian time. But because of the misnomals that occurred, they had to wait. And Nigerians insisted they were not going to go anywhere until they cast their votes. So they had to extend the time. And now it's night, but there's heavy security presence. But Nigerians are still in the queues and they are still voting.
Were there rules being observed? Like, for example, when you are going to vote, you are not to wear the T-shirts of any of the candidates in the country that is contesting for any of the positions. Were there all these things followed? Nigerians were not seen wearing T-shirts of, political actors in the country, or they were seen wearing some of the T-shirts?
Well, Sekou, I must be very honest with you. For the first time, Nigerians have complied with the rules and regulations of an election. I visited more than 13 polling units today, and I didn't see anybody wear as much as a face cap. Even the agents of political parties who were there present were not seen wearing the T-shirts or the face caps of any political party. Although I didn't see anyway, but I heard from other colleagues who said that in other polling units, the agents were waiting and asking people to vote. And when you vote for them, you go to a certain place, they give you other rights, they give you a phone, or they give you some cash transfer, 5,000 naira into your account. But really, I must be honest, I didn't see that in my own polling units. But I heard colleagues who said they saw that. I didn't see, actually.
Now, the time now in Nigeria, we should be talking about roughly, is it 10 now? It should be something around 10 o'clock or some meaning to 10 o'clock now in Nigeria. And you said Nigerians are still voting. Are there preliminary results coming up, or there's nothing of such currently happening in that part of the country?
No, preliminary results have not started in many of the polling units, because you cannot be counting results when the presiding officers have not collated all the results from the wards. It first starts from the wards. When you collate the
okay, so we're gonna go back to Naomi. And we will also go to Abuja, where we'll talk to Ife. Ife is a contributor to Voice of Liberia. We'll go to Abuja. We'll also talk to Kwasim. And we'll also get updates from other parts of Nigeria as to results coming in from Nigeria, telling us about how did the election go today, how Nigerians turned out in their numbers. Like you listen to Naomi Kombenda, our Nigerian correspondent from the northwestern region of the country there in Sokoto, giving us that update. We're going to go to Abuja. We'll talk to two persons from Abuja. One is Ife, who's a contributor to Voice of Liberia, and she works for Vision FM. And also we'll talk to Kwasim from Abuja, who also works for Premium Time. We'll also go to other parts of Nigeria to talk to some other journalists there, getting you first-hand information. We're live on Voice of Liberia 104.1. My name is Sekou Sharif. I want to say thank you to the entire team, making all it takes at the back to have us to bring you this update here from Nigeria. This is it. Now you're listening to Naomi Kombenda. We will go back to Naomi. We're trying to get in the system some other issues here. We also want to know, has there been any statement from international observers? If so, what are they saying? Like the EU, the AU, ECOWAS, in terms of irregularities. Has there been any, information about that? Okay, someone is testing me and say, but Voice of Liberia is like the BBC in Liberia, but we don't want to say it though. I mean, we're on election update here for Nigeria. This is now something for us to okay. Okay, so we're trying to establish contact again with Naomi. When we are done with Naomi, we're gonna go to Abuja. We'll talk to one of our contributors from Abuja there in Nigeria, and then we'll also talk to Qasim as well. We'll talk to them. Mind you, the time now in Nigeria should be roughly 9:50. Okay, 7 minutes to 10 now in Nigeria, and you listen to Naomi. Nigerians are still voting. In fact, the time in which they were to start the voting in that part of the country, they did not start the voting. So we go back to Nigeria and talk to Naomi, and then when we conclude with Naomi now, we'll come back to talk to, we'll go now to Abuja to talk to some other folks in that part of the country. Naomi is Voice of Liberia correspondent, but all the other people we're going to be speaking with, they are all contributors of Voice of Liberia in Nigeria. So we'll go back to Naomi to conclude with Naomi as to, some other concerns. We want to know some other issues from the country. We want to know what it is in terms of, whenever you have these kinds of elections, the international community, they will have a representation like the EU, ECOWAS, AU, other, international groupings. We want to know what are they saying about the process. Have they been able to come up with a statement, by the way, or Naomi joins us again? Naomi, let me say sorry, you've rejoined us. Thank you. You were explaining something. You can just go ahead and before I ask you the next question.
Okay, I was saying that it's not possible for coalition or counting of results to commence because the presiding officer needs to collate all the votes and move them to the ward. And the ward will move them to local government, and for local government, they move it to the state, and the state to the federal capital. So since elections are still in progress, there is no way, and it's not right for anyone to start the counting process.
Naomi, have there been any statement from the international observers in that part of the country?
Of course. We have the EU representatives are here. We have people from Finland and other international nations who have sent observers to come, particularly the European Union. They are here present, and they have sent their statement that the election was free and fair. I believe that's what they saw. I also saw a free process, but a very clumsy one, because if you're going to create a candidate for 5 minutes then how many hours will you create 500 people? So I don't know where they got the result of free and fair election as very smooth. I really don't know where they got that. I am here, and I just what happened in my own part of the country.
They did not mention anything about irregularities in the elections in the country?
Of course, irregularities were there, I told you. There were some people who registered in some polling units.
No, I'm talking about specifically, Naomi, I'm talking about specifically, like you said, EU, AU, ECOWAS, they've got their observers there, and they've come up with their statements, either separately or whatsoever. Did they mention irregularities in their statements they issued, or they did not mention such?
No, they didn't mention anything. The only thing that I saw was that the elections were free, were going on smoothly and credible. So I don't know if that thing will change in this night, because I believe we've gotten reports from the other part of the country where they said that ballot boxes were snatched, where gunmen came to harass people, but not in my own part, because I don't know, I can't talk about that. I only saw that on the social media.
So Naomi, are there been any statement from the opposition or other candidates?
Of course, in Sokoto State here, the ruling government, who elections are for today, that's for presidency, for House of Reps and Senate, the gubernatorial candidates for the states came out to make a statement that the elections were not free, and that there was frustration, that the BVAS machine was not working. And so we could not see how this process could produce a credible candidate that was the Nigerians' choice. He made that statement, understand? And then all the... Go ahead, Siku.
Mm-hmm. How many females are vying for the presidency in Nigeria?
Well, presently we have those two females, and the two females are in very unpopular political parties. So no one is actually hearing about them. It is dominated by the men, and the strong men at that. We have only 3 main candidates who are all male: the Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, the Ashwani Bolaji of the APC, and the Peter Obi of Labour Party, which is also a man. So no woman has stopped it.
Those of the people today, when we had a conversation, I was informed that you went out to talk to Nigerians that were voting today. Those of the people you interview during the day hours in the country, particularly in the northwestern region of Nigeria, what did they say to you? Were they saying that they need change or they need continuity in the country?
Oh, well, it was obvious that Nigerians need change. But to say if they want continuity, they would not open up to us on that, because you know that the presidential candidate of the APC, the president has asked him to move and to build on their achievements already. While the opposition is saying, no, you have failed, so step aside and let us improve the issue. So all supporters were fighting for what they believe in. But what I know for sure is that Nigerians want a change. They want a new government, perhaps one that will improve the situation where they find themselves, where they are presently.
In terms of the turnout now, among the first-time voters in Nigeria, what do you know of such? Was it massive, or you don't have too much, first-time voters?
Of course, it was massive. The turnout was impressive, especially those supporting the Peter Obi movement. He had a huge followership of young people who have never been in the political arena of Nigeria. They have never really wanted to participate in the politicking of Nigeria. They've never had voter cards. They've never been accredited before. But the message of Peter Obi has brought a lot of young people who insisted they wanted their voters' cards so they could vote and make their impact known. And the same thing applies to the PDPs and the APCs. A lot of young people and women have emerged who wanted to show that they also want to participate in the change process, the transfer of Nigeria from this president to the next government. So, of course, there are so many first-time voters who have come on board lately.
Naomi, I'm going to ask you this question, and we'll return to you because we want to go to Abuja to talk to Ife and other people across Nigeria. Generally, what Nigerians are praying for now as we speak, looking at the process may likely just end very soon, and we'll talk about counting. What Nigerians are praying for as we speak?
What Nigerians, all I could see, all I could read, and all I could hear was that they are enthusiastic and they are quite optimistic that this should be a free, credible, and fair election where their choices will count. No longer the choices of other people, not other people that will make choices for them, but their choices will be counted. And that's why they're still in the polls now voting, because they believe that their votes will count and that they voting will emerge with a better leader for the country.
Thank you very much, Naomi. We'll get back to you maybe in a few minutes or sometime, please, so we can get some other updates from you, but we want to go to Abuja and some other areas in Nigeria.
Thank you for having me, Sekou.
Thank you very much, Naomi Kombenda is Voice of Liberia, Nigerian correspondent there, talking to us from Nigeria. She spoke to us about what's happening, particularly somewhere around Sokoto, yes, in the northwestern region of Nigeria. So we will also move now to Abuja, where we'll go and speak to Ife, and then we'll also go to Kwasim. Ife she's a journalist. She works at Vision FM, and also Kwasim works at Premium Times. So we'll talk to them and we'll hear them out as we get the system prepared to connect with them. To talk to them tonight, we're having a special broadcast that has to do with the coverage of the Nigerian election. And this is what we do here at Voice of Liberia 104.1. We do this and we cut across the world, bringing you all the necessary information you need to know about. So we're trying to get this in and go to Ife from yes. Is it enough now? In there to I hope it won't go over. Okay, so let me okay, let me go to this. Yes. Okay, so we want to go to Ife now, there in Abuja. The place, I'm getting so many reports that, these kinds of things happen. Elections have tension by itself. You have lots of things happening. Journalists themselves are cutting across, trying to see as well they can get the factual information in terms of what they report. So it is not something small and easy, by the way. Election reporting is quite different from what you listen to Naomi, that up to present, there's no preliminary results being announced, or maybe, to go to the talent. You can have it when you still have people voting. So it is what is going on. So we're going to go now to talk to one of our contributors from Nigeria, Ife, who's going to tell us about what's happening there in Abuja within Nigeria, cutting across, bringing to you what's happening in Nigeria. This is what we do here at Voice of Liberia 104.1. My name is Sekou Sharif. So we're going to go to Ife now. Ife is in Abuja. There a journalist. Let me go try to see as well we can speak with this. Yes, we're still trying to do it again. It went off. Let me try to get it. Good. You just want to do this. You get it. It's a 2494945. 49. No, it's not. Okay, 458181. We're trying to plus 3 4. We're trying to see as well we can get the number correct. We're trying to. Okay, sorry folks, making this all efforts. It is because of you. We want to we want to do. Okay, so it is going through. We want to see as well we can have, journalists, most especially. Okay, we're gonna be joined by Ife from Abuja in Nigeria. If you want to say good evening to you and thank you for joining us here at Voice of Liberia in Liberia. Good evening, Ife.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
It feels good to have you. I know it is somewhat difficult there in Abuja, looking at what's going on in the country, the elections. How first of all, what can you say to us about the elections in the country? Did the elections start early as announced by the relevant institution in Nigeria there in Abuja?
Well, so far it's been, a widespread, a case of INEC officials and, voting materials arriving late at polling units. So this really affected, the process, across the country. Since morning, we've been having, reports, observations, and also complaints from Nigerians who are perhaps still out there on the street right now at different polling units trying to see if they can still cast their vote. At some point in time, we were made to understand that the BVAS machines were not working. So it's beyond INEC officials and the voting materials getting or arriving late at the polling unit. We're also made to understand that the BVAS machines actually malfunctioned at some polling units. And this is despite the fact that the INEC chairman, had, constantly assured that the BVAS machines are up and working. So it's been a very dicey situation for us here in Nigeria. And to also, know that this is the first time since 2011 that the electoral umpire has got to, conduct, the elections on schedule without postponing, the conduct of the election.
Now, in Abuja, like you said, means the election did not start within time as it was being announced by the election commission within that part of the country. Now, what was it like in terms of the turnout? Did Nigerians turn out to do or to carry out the voting process?
Well, the turnout this time around has been quite impressive, as opposed to, what we, recorded in previous elections. From all indications, Nigerians are now aware. They now know that, come what may, their votes must count. And that's the much reason why we still have, a handful of, citizens out there right now still, lamenting and expressing dissatisfaction with the process, because for most of them that I actually spoke with earlier today, they actually expressed readiness, under the sun or in the rain, that they would cast their vote. So the turnout has been really impressive. We have, the youth all out, ready to cast their votes. Even though some of them were, there were reports of, attacks in some parts of the country. And this did not even, deter the youth from going out to cast their votes today. We also had, a report of elderly people as well, who also went out in their numbers.
Specifically there in Abuja, where you are currently reporting from, has there been any statement from international observers?
Well, none that we're sure of right now, but we're supposed to, link up with some ECOWAS observers earlier, but because of the uncertainty, trailing the process, that is, because right now collation is actually ongoing, in some parts of the country, and other parts, voting is perhaps still ongoing because some polling units they started late. So the observers are also still keeping tabs on the situation of things. But so far, it's just the widespread lateness or late arrival of INEC officials and voting materials and polling units. I think that is just the front burner issue right now for most of the observers, just as I actually monitored across the national dailies here.
Now, Are there been any statement maybe from opposition or other candidates that participated in the elections in the country?
Well, we really didn't beam our searchlight on, comments from any of these aspirants. But we do know that in Rivers State, for example, the sitting governor right now, who is under the platform of the opposition, the main opposition political party, he expressed, disappointment and also dissatisfaction with the process earlier today because he had issues with the BVAS machine not recognizing, him and also his wife at the time.
There are more than 87 million voters who received their voter cards to vote in the election that took place in Nigeria. If it is still ongoing, that is taking place in Nigeria. Were you to give us an update about the first-time voters? How was the turnout of such?
Well, for people that are voting for the first time, you mean?
Yes, first-time voters.
Okay, for first-timers, it's really been an amazing experience for them, and one could actually, see the enthusiasm and joy. And most of them that even cast their vote earlier, they have to take to different social media platforms. They took, pictures of their thumb, just to show that they've, voted. And they feel very proud about it that at least they've been able to exercise their franchise. Some of them, it's not because they just lost 18, but they've really not believed in the electoral process all these years. But this time around, they just feel there is something about this, 2023 general election. They are so convinced. And for the first timers who did cast their vote today, from all indications, they are proud and they are happy.
Now, you've been seeing what's happening since this morning, how people are being, carrying out the voting process. As a journalist, who do you think could be, in a better position looking at the way things have been going out, campaign process have been taking place in the country? Who do you think among all the candidates could be taking a very better position or a lead in this entire process?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Can you please come again with that?
I was asking you, you've been listening to campaign messages and also watching out what's happening in the country, particularly in Abuja. Who do you think will be in a best position looking at the way election process is still ongoing in the country, particularly in Abuja?
Well, right here in Abuja, from what we are hearing so far, it looks like the set force, because there's a party that's been tagged the set force. There are reports that that party is actually doing the most right now, but I really can't comment, precisely as to who is leading the charge right now. But from indications and posts across social media platforms, it looks like the set force is actually doing the most right now. But regardless, with our fingers are crossed, and of course, when the results are, when everything is collated, I think that's when we'll be able to, give a more defined, explicit comment on that.
In terms of conflict, were there any in Abuja that you observed?
I didn't get that. Hello.
I said, in terms of conflict, did you observe anything there in Abuja today for the election that took place?
Well, not at all. Not at all. Although some persons that we had a conversation with earlier in the day actually alleged, but of course, at this time, there is bound to be all sort of, misinformation and disinformation. Some people deliberately want to just, say these things to cause a stir. So as far as we're concerned, we were not able to confirm any sort of attack at any polling unit or anyone.
So now what Nigerians are praying for, as now it has reached to a point where maybe any minute from now, they will be closing all the doors on the voting process, and then we'll move on to counting. Are they praying for change or they want continuity?
Well, the expectations are high at this point in time. Really, there are so many perspectives to this. Quite frankly, taking a look at the Transparency International, Corruption Index report, Nigeria has unfortunately, been doing the most when it comes to that. So beyond corruption, we also have issues, related to insecurity and also the harsh economic realities on ground. Most recently we've been battling this, currency redesign, issues, and somehow there were even fears before now that it would affect the conduct of elections. But we're just thankful to God that regardless, the elections actually are ongoing. So the economic realities on ground that are perhaps not too, suitable for most Nigerians at this point in time, the corruption and also insecurity. I think these are the front burner issues, that Nigerians are hopeful will be addressed by the time a new leader assumes office.
Now, before we let you go, Ife, there's this, whenever, elections is ongoing, you have people thinking that their candidate or whosoever should win the elections. For you to give us how many candidates or how many persons were vying for the presidency in the just ended or the ongoing elections in Nigeria?
I'm afraid you'll have to come again with that.
I'm asking you, how many candidates were vying for the presidency in the elections?
Well, so far we have 18 political parties, actively participating in the electoral process. But obviously we have, regardless, we have, 4 major contenders at the time. Not to overrule other, aspirants, but we have 4 major contenders right now. But in the whole, we have 18 political parties with the aspirants, contending for the seat of the president.
Who are the 4, big names?
Okay, the 4 major political parties right now, though somewhat, one could actually, differ on this, but for some time now, from analysis, the ruling All Progressives Congress, we have the major opposition, which is the People's Democratic Party. We have the Labour Party, which is in charge, the Third Force, and we also have the NNPC, which is the New Nigeria People's Party.
Thank you very much, Ife. We want to say thank you, and we wish you people all the best, and we hope that this election can be free, fair, transparent. And so when the results are announced, the Nigerians can accept and move on for better Nigeria.
Yes, please. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Ife. Ife is a contributor to Voice of Liberia from Abuja there. We go back now to another person. Sorry, not back, but we go to another person. Kwasim. Kwasim is with Premium Time in Nigeria. We'll talk to Kwasim as well. We just want to get a few updates, what's happening, what's, Nigerians are saying about the elections in the country. After that process, we think it is just fair enough. Oh God. Hey God. So we want to go to Kwasim now. Stay in Nigeria, bringing you updates about the elections in Nigeria. You're listening to journalists from Nigeria telling you about what has happened up to present. People are still voting. It is something around 10 now in Nigeria. Voting process still ongoing. I think they will start to come up with the counting process, and then preliminary results start to fall in, come in, and then you have it like that. So we want to go to the last person, and then oh God. Okay, so we want to do this. Voice of Liberia. My name is Sekou Sharif, and you're listening to Voice of Liberia 104.1. I want to say thank you to the entire team, everyone, the manager, Famata, the likes of all the team players, everyone behind the scene working all to have this done properly. So we want to get to, yes, that is will just be okay. Then we'll go to Kwasim. Kwasim is also in Abuja, but some other areas in Abuja. Abuja is one of the busiest places of Nigeria. You have the more population there, like the same way you have. No, it's okay. You have let's get them in the system. The same way you have Monrovia, you know, you got people basic, moving from one point to another. It's just that is it. So we're gonna go to him now there in Nigeria. Stay on elections update, Nigeria election update here tonight. So we go to Kwasim, who's a journalist as well in Nigeria. We talk to him now. We come back and call it a day. And so we let you to. We'll also have a repeat of this being played tonight and also maybe sometime. So for those of you that won't be able to listen, you also get a fresh hand information when it is being replayed as well on the radio, Voice of Liberia. We have our correspondents across the world. And so we always try to bring you happenings from across, and so you can know what's happening. So now, two of our colleagues, they've reported that the voting process did not start within time as it was announced. Yeah, so meaning they were to start by maybe 7, 8, 9, but it started something around 11. And so maybe that's the reason why they push up to this time. So we're trying to connect with our last person. But mind you, you don't blame some of the journalists now. They might be cutting across, living from one point to another, trying to also get necessary information. Elections reporting is very tough. Very, very tough. Having it this way, it is very, very tough. Having to know what's happening, you want to get all the actual information. You want to know what are the actual information. You don't want to give something very different from the truth. Yeah, so we still trying to get our last person. You see. Okay, so we're trying to get Kwasim, who's with Premium Time. Kwasim, we when we get Kwasim, then we talk to him and to know about his own, observation there today about the election. Yes. So we also want to know whether parties observers were they visible at the polling stations and what exactly is the cause for the delay. Like what some of them said, that they said some people names were not even found in the process, and some other irregularities of the people. But EU and other international institutions, their release said the election was free, fair, transparent, and they did not mention maybe what the journalists are saying in terms of irregularities. And you could say it from another point too, though, that they might be just wanting to have the peace to reign, and so they will always do that diplomatic, system as to what they say. But we're still finding it difficult to get our last person. So what we're going to do, let me see how many of you listening, what we're going to do. What do you make of Nigeria election? We're going to take 5 calls, not above this number. 5 calls enough. We're going to take it. You listen to our correspondent and contributor what they've said about this. We're going to take exactly 5 calls. 5 calls, not above 5. Our system, not above 5. 5 calls, just enough. This get it on, right? Yeah? So that is it. 077 0907 907 0880 907 907 0880 907 907. What do you make of the election in Nigeria? Listen to our correspondent and also another person, a contributor there, telling us about it. And also, what do you make of Voice of Liberia reaching out thus far? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, SS.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, come on, brother. Good evening.
Yeah, do it quick now. Go ahead.
I listen to your journalists across the world in Nigeria mostly, and I saw it on the screen in the election. It's going to be very tough because I saw it on my screen here. There's a violence into the police. The poster I want to go, the security I want to go monitor the election.
Okay.
The beating people.
And we now want your own information. The information that people get. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes. What do you make of the report coming from our correspondent and also a contributor there in Nigeria?
Well, I'm just admiring the way coming in, because I'm still listening to the radio and then following on social media also. Because myself, I have my interest, which is Atiku Abubakar is my favorite.
Hey, my man, I'm not interested in here. You eat it before you can get interest. Okay, Chief, thank you very much. This person, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Sekou.
Yes, go ahead.
This is Emil. I join you from the Electoral District number 8. While I was sorry from all of those you've quizzed as it relates to the election, after saying everything has been peaceful. So it is my honest prayer and hope that we Liberians moving forward during the October election in Liberia, I feel we can carpet what the Nigerians are doing so that peace can reign because our common denominator remains Liberia.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
It's my choice. I put it on social media. I listen to the mess. I appreciate Nigerians. I like that election. Where by this hour, you're still going through election. Once you're in a queue, you dedicate close up, you have to vote. I wish we that will practice it. The woman who is in Nigeria, she said, we still have the glory. I hope we practice it here in Liberia.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, my name is Dennis from Tuta.
Okay, calling from Totota in Bon County.
Yes.
Go ahead, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank God for the people of Nigeria, the Nigerians, for the election. And thank God, I'm praying that it must be in peace. That's why our own.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me take this person here. Hello. Too bad. Sorry. Let me get you. Hello. No, let me let you go. Let me go to this person. The calls. I'm gonna take 2 more calls. I'm not taking more calls. This is our election report. Somebody we're doing. Hello.
How are you, my brother?
Yeah. Go ahead, quick. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Myself, I listen to what's happening in Nigeria. They're asking God for intervention for Liberia. You go to the scene and go to Team Perfect and God bless you, brother.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. This last person. Hello.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, go ahead. You said how you call, is it how? Hello? Too bad. Let me take this last person on this line. Good evening.
Good evening, Sekou.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
There's a brother, Ivan Seka Alakema Costa, and I call you from the Ora Baja Technical College campus in Banjo.
In Banjo, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me further commend you for your hard work. I think Voice of Liberia is the voice of Africa now because for us to be in Liberia and getting direct communication from Nigeria when it comes to the election, matters. I will commend you highly for the hard work.
Thank you.
I commend the Nigerian people, and I also urge them to keep, the peace in their country for the election to be free, fair, and transparent, so that other African countries in Liberia who is now voting into elections can see there as an example, a good example to conduct elections in Liberia free, fair, and then so that we can maintain our peace in Liberia. Because what we're sensing around the corner, before we are ready our election.
My man, you quite to bring politics into team member. What kind of minute is so? Okay, so that's all the time we've got on the elections update from Nigeria. We'll also keep giving you updates about what's happening from Nigeria, but up to the appropriate time, we'll do our best. Yes, Voice of Liberia 104.1. My name is Sekou Sharif, and I want to say, thank you to all of our listeners, and this is it. We'll have a repeat of this as well, so those of you that didn't follow, you can follow as well.
Let's do it peacefully, and I know that at the end of the day, God will take all the glory.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Good luck.